In today's DC, we've seen quarterbacks, wide receivers, and football coaches trade sports for politics. But an NFL place kicker? That may be a new one. Former NFL kicker and broadcast analyst Jay Feely is now the Republican nominee in one of the nation's most closely watched races, Arizona's 1st congressional district. And here's the twist. He's running against a man who once stood on the same NFL sideline. I took the trip to Arizona to learn more about Jay's journey from the football field to the campaign trail.
Former NFL kicker and broadcaster Jay Feely has been declared the winner in the Republican primary for the CD1 race.
You have said that Congress needs a kick, and I say that to your kicker, of course. What do you think football and what you learned in football can help you do in Washington, D.C.?
I think to be a great kicker, you have to be able to handle pressure and you have to be able to handle failure. And I think there's a lot of similarities to going to D.C. and fighting for things. Maybe you don't get the bill passed that you want, and you're going to have to continue to fight for the things that you believe in. My wife and I have always tried to use the blessings that we've been given to help others. And I see it as a natural progression to want to be in politics. And, to be honest with you, when President Trump was shot, that was a big moment where I started asking myself, okay, what am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to give up a job that I only have to work 5 months of the year and pays really well? And I think politics should be sacrificial. It's not supposed to be where you go and you enrich yourself and stay there for a career. It's supposed to be going and serving the people. And that's how I view it. And, my wife always says, she sat in the stands when I missed game winners and, hear all the things that people said about me and has prepared us for this fight.
First thing when you get to D.C. you would want to fix?
Well, I think when we have $40 trillion in debt, and we're saddling our kids and our grandkids with that debt, and no one has the will to cut spending, and you look at the Democrat policies, everything's about trying to promise more things, and our debt's growing at $1 trillion every 100 days. The only way to fix it is to have GDP over 5%, inflation under 3%, and grow your way out of it. And if I could fix that, I know that we're doing what's best for our kids and our grandkids.
You have been endorsed not once but twice by the president, President Trump. Tell me about what that endorsement ultimately meant to you.
I think first it's a friendship, and I truly appreciate that. We've known each other for almost 2 decades and had the blessing of being able to play golf with him, do a number of things with him in the first administration as well as, this administration. But now it's the opportunity to serve and to go there and to fight for the things that he believes in.
One of the great things that we've seen from this president is border security. Here in Arizona, the border is a very big deal to you guys. It's a border state. And I'm curious the change that maybe you've seen here in Arizona since the president took office for his second term. And maybe where do we still need to be focused on as the border goes?
For 4 years, the Biden administration said we couldn't get anything done. They needed a bill passed, and the president, in less than a month, was able to close the border. My son and I went down to the border to see it ourselves. And I was talking to one of the Border Patrol members, and I said, what is the difference between when President Biden was in office and now when President Trump is back in office? And he said, we can do our job now. Now there's a secure border. Now you can't come across the border and just claim asylum and then remain in this country while your case is adjudicated. And that's the way it should be. That's how we're protecting families, trying to make sure that fentanyl doesn't come across our borders. There's still a big gap in Arizona, 20-some miles where there isn't a wall. That wall should be finished. It shouldn't be a partisan issue to want to secure this country and make sure it's safe for our families.
Well, I think we all know what we're looking at here.
Right.
You have a lot to be proud of. I
played on a lot of different teams.
You did. And it's funny because whenever you look at your career in the NFL, I think there's so much that you did, including representing the players, right, in so many situations that maybe has prepared you for this leadership role.
Certainly, and it was one of the great honors to have my teammates say, hey, we want you to be our player rep and to go to Washington, D.C. during the lockout to negotiate the contracts. To have the owners, even though I sat on the other side of the table from them, I think they saw somebody who was thoughtful and rational and logical, and, a lot of them now have supported our campaign and, wanted to help me get to D.C. And that says a lot to me, because we did negotiate, and it was contentious at times. But I think you can do that in a way that's respectful and kind and brings people together instead of driving people apart.
A little foreshadowing, maybe, for what was to come to be in D.C. back then. It's interesting in this race, too, though, because your opponent now is someone you previously worked with when you were with the Jets. So you were a kicker there, and he was one of the on-field physicians. How is that going to work out? How's that been?
I respect the fact that he's a doctor and wanted to go out there and, help people. And for me, it's really about the issues. And, when the two parties have never been further apart ideologically, it's very easy to make the distinction of what we believe in. And I think common sense measures that are going to help people and what they believe in this democratic socialism that they're pushing now. Like, it's just fundamentally changing everything about our country and what has made it great over the last 250 years. And I think the people in Arizona in the 1st Congressional District are going to be very clear that they don't want those type of policies here.
You've also gotten support from athletes, from, people you've worked with, Roger Goodell, Charles Barkley, Jim Nance. How much has that meant to you?
It's really humbling. When you get into politics and you talk to people, especially when people are willing to donate their own money that they're not using on their families to help you run for office. And I think it just speaks to who I've tried to be when I was in the NFL, and that's somebody who cares about people.
Well, I don't think anybody can miss what's going on here.
Very inconspicuous.
Yeah, they know who you are driving around for sure. I mean, when people see you out driving this truck around, are they stopping you? Are you knocking doors? What are people saying to you?
This seat is such an important seat. It's why I want to be in it, because it's consequential. It's one of the 3 to 5 seats in the country that will help determine who wins the House and who controls the House. And we know what will happen if we lose the House. President Trump will be impeached immediately. The guy I'm running against said that in his debate. That's what they want to do, and they want to inhibit anything going forward and not codifying anything that this administration has done. It's why I want to be in this race. It's why I want to keep this Republican seat.
And so what is the thing that you hear the most from voters out there in this district? What are they looking for in their candidate?
I think this district cares about the economy. They care about affordability. They want to make sure that we're creating the right structure for our kids and our grandkids to be successful moving forward. They want to make sure that we have secure borders, that needs to be put into law. Those are two of the things that are most important. Obviously, we've talked as well about girls and protecting the locker rooms, protecting their sports. Those are things that resonate with the voters here.
All right, Jay, 14 seasons in the NFL. You certainly felt pressure kicking game-winning field goals. But give me your assessment, and with your family behind you as well, more pressure, guys, was it in the NFL or is it running for Congress?
Well, in the NFL, if I missed a kick, I might get cut, fired. We're going to have to sell the home, pull the kids out of school. Like, those are all realities. In Congress, you don't do a good job. You impact the entire country. So I think there's more pressure in office for sure.
Okay. Well, as my farewell here today, as a world famous kicker, you got to help me kick a football here.
Rumor has it, though, you wanted to be a kicker in 9th grade.
Potentially. It didn't pan out. So we're here today.
Here's your opportunity right here.
All right. So here we go. What do I need to know?
Well, you want to lock your ankle like you did when you're striking a ball in soccer. We got the uprights right there. Maybe a 30-yard field goal right over the wall.
I'm going to make a 30-yard field goal.
Come on, let's go. I'm going to hold for you.
All right.
So we're going to get this down here.
I'm going to back up like I see you do.
There you go. Two over and two sideways. Exactly.
All right, we ready? In a dress?
I love it.
Here we go.
Not bad.
I mean,
maybe a little wide left. We don't want to be left. We want to be right.
We want to be right. I know. I messed it up. Jay, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Great to see you.